Seats, Chair, sir. Sheriff, just wonder if you're on one of those phone numbers.
Yes, sir. I was just getting ready to call the meeting to order.
Oh, awesome. Good. Just want to make sure you're there, sir. We're all
Okay, thanks.
recording everything on our end, so whenever you want to start.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Kevin McMahill, the chair for the Homeland Security Committee on Finance, and I'm calling the Wednesday, April 26th, 2023 meeting of the Committee on Finance to order. It is 1:30 p.m. I'm going to do roll call. If we could, please let me know if you're here or not. Michael Brown.
Michael Brown's present.
Thank you, Michael. Carolyn Levering.
Here.
Thanks, Carolyn. Chris Lake. Oh, Chris Lake. Corey Solferino. Okay, how about Stan Smith?
Present.
All right, try one more time. Chris Lake. Or Corey Solferino. That gives us 4 out of 6, Dave. That should be good, right?
Yes, sir. That meets our quorum for us.
So we do have a quorum, and so we'll move on from there. Thank you very much. Item number 2 is public comments for discussion only. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under this item of the agenda until the matter itself has been specifically included on the agenda as an item upon which action may be taken. Public comments may be limited to 3 minutes per person at the discretion of the chair. Comments will not be restricted based on the viewpoint. And because there is no physical location for this meeting, public testimony under this agenda item may be presented by phone. To provide testimony during the period of comment, please call in after 1 on the day of the meeting at 1-669-219-2599. When prompted, provide the meeting ID. Please enter 686-738-8625 and then press number. When prompted for a participant ID, please press number. When asked to provide public comment, please press star 6 to unmute your phone and star 6 again when your comments are complete. And for those of you that may be watching, please be advised that the YouTube stream is 60 to 90 seconds behind the live meeting. If you would like to present public comment, please call in using the above number to hear the meeting live. Do we have anybody for public comment?
Chair Dave Fulkerson, I do have one public comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Billy Samuels and I made a kind of administrative decision to excuse Carrie Underwood and Rachel Skidmore from this meeting today and the Homeland Security meeting tomorrow, and we can represent their positions if there are questions. The Southern Nevada Counterterrorism Center is awarded the Fusion Center of the Year, and they're back in DC this week accepting that award. They were on the meeting yesterday for us to provide that feedback on their grant stuff, but we wanted to excuse them so that way they can move forward with their award process this week.
Thank you very much. Very proud of their efforts there. Thanks for acknowledging them. Any other public comments?
Looks like we just got Chris Lake on too.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, so Chris Lake is now present for the meeting. Thank you. No other public comment. We'll close public comment and move to item number 3 for approval of the minutes for discussion or possible action. You've all had the opportunity to review the minutes. I'll accept the motion.
Brown, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the March 1st meeting.
Okay, Michael Brown has made the motion. Do I have a second?
Chris Lake will second.
Christopher Counselor Lake is the second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 4, which is the review of the federal fiscal year 2023 State Homeland Security Program, SHSP, and Urban Area Security Initiative, UASI, program proposals with the intent to formulate a recommendation to the Nevada Commission on Homeland Security. And this is discussion and possible action. I think, Billy Samuels, if you're there, I'd like to maybe toss this over to you, and you can maybe review your spreadsheet and talk about what you all came up with yesterday, and maybe we could get that read into the record if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, sir. So yesterday it was the SHSP side. Mine was last week on the 18th of April for the urban area work group and the UASI side. I can review both if you like, but if you want me to start with the UASI, I will. And then Chief Ogerson, he's the SAA over the SHSP side, if you want him to continue with that, sir.
Either way, it doesn't matter to me. Whichever one he wants to start, that's fine.
Okay, Dave, if you're good, I'll start with UAG from last week.
Please do.
Okay, Sheriff, we do have multiple projects. They were a lot of maintained. I don't know if you want me to go with them line item by line item. Usually what we do, we'll give you the ones that did not really go forth, that fell below the red line. Everything else was either maintained. A lot of those consisted of the City of Las Vegas, LVMPD, Clark County Office of Emergency Management, City of Henderson, Las Vegas Armor, and Las Vegas Bomb Squad, and SNHD. Many of the maintained projects consisted of the analysts that are already assigned to those centers, along with the capabilities that they do produce. The ones that fell below the red line, there was 2 of them. One that was partially funded, which was the Clark County Fire Department Mobile Command Post. We did do reductions of $80,000, but there's only $10,000 that fell below the red line. The other project that is below the red line is the City of Henderson. They requested some tethered drones. It did fall below. With all the projects maintained, there were some consolidations made by each organization to make sure that some of the partners were able to receive some of their products or their projects. And in the entirety, we did meet all of the 5 requirements that came through. The 3% match that we have to have. For our side, it was $157,500 we have to have to meet certain requirements, sir. And that included the enhancing the protection of soft targets, crowded places, enhancing information sharing and intelligence sharing and analysis and cooperation with federal agencies, combating domestic violent extremism, enhancing community preparedness and resilience, and enhancing election security. So we did meet all those requirements from the federal government side. They had a 6th one in there with enhancing cybersecurity, but there was not a 3% match. We also, the LEPA had also increased up to 35%, and we met those criteria as well. I'm more than happy to go in detail, sir, but hopefully that'll give you a gist of what we did accomplish last week. And we are going to make some changes and some discussions on definitions moving forward in our next meeting in July. And I believe the state and NRAC is going to follow the same suit. More than happy to answer any questions, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I think you covered most of what I was hoping for there. I know that there was a number of baseline requirements that were outlined in the NOFO. And just for the record, can you cover that you copied LETPA, but mandatory election security funding? I know that's in there as well, and just maybe talk about that for a second.
Yes, sir, we did. So the 5 that I did mention, it was enhancing protection of soft targets that did get matched and met in the sum of $893,000 and change, all around the numbers, because there's a lot of, we added pennies, which we're going to try to get rid of going forward on this one. Enhancing information sharing, we hit it at 2.1 million. And then combating domestic violent extremism was a 684,000. Enhancing community preparedness was 405,000. And then the enhancing election security, we had 2 projects, and that was 178,478. Myself and Carolyn Levering, I believe she's going to discuss this as well. Some of it was physical securities. So the elections building, we had them add a project in to meet the threshold, but she's also going to work on physical security with overtime on personnel. And we truly hope that gets matched, because that'll help our needs in the future for LVMPD, as well as all the city and jurisdictions when it comes to special elections and normal elections. If we can use personnel costs on an overtime basis, that'll help us meet that 3% match every year instead of coming out of elections budget and yours, sir.
Great. Any questions for Billy on the UASC side of this? Okay, hearing none, I'll move over to Mr. Dave Fogerson on the SHSP piece.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And just all the same stuff that Billy said, we're able to meet the 5 core requirements of the NOFO by the various grant process programs that were provided. And we do have some cyber stuff intermingled into it as well, even though there wasn't a spend requirement on that, but we did meet the minimum spends for the on the state Homeland Security side, just like Billy mentioned on the UASI side. Terminology, just like Billy said, I was down at UAG last week and we talked the NRAC, Homeland Security Finance Commission and our committee and the Homeland Security Commission actually makes those definitions. And so Bill and I talked, I'm going to come down there in July, so that way we can start that discussion and then we can bring back to NRAC, so that way we make it that it applies to the entire grant process. We bring back to this group in the Homeland Security Commission, so that way we have a good step forward. We did a lot of talking about, what is sustained, what is maintained, what is enhanced, what is new, and how often should we have everyone be looked at as new, so that way we don't have dead weight hanging around for a long period of time. Not that we have any dead weight, but we always have those questions of we've been funding this for 10 years or 5 years, or is it still a needed capability? And so those are all those discussions that Billy was mentioning there, kind of short. And I want to get a little more detail about that we want to start having. So that way next year we have a new refined process. This year we did a 3-year strategic priority plan back in 2020. And so that comes due. So it's a perfect time to start looking at that again. On the state Homeland Security side, we had just a little less money than the UASI did. And we only did not fund on 6 projects didn't get funded. And a couple of them did have some questions on whether they actually had a Homeland Security terrorism nexus. We were unable to fund a Stop the Bleed program for Moapa Valley Fire Protection District, but we were able to connect them with the Southern Nevada Health District, who believes that they have a funding stream to help them out for their project. And then White Pine County was asking for plate carriers, firefighter SCBAs, an ambulance, and a command and two command trucks for the volunteer fire chief and for their fire chief. And those, we had some questions on whether they met Homeland Security or not. But we also have another grant funding stream that county is eligible for, that the emergency working program group, and they're going to get with them to see if there's some funds from our radiation funds that can help out that rural county with those items. And then the other one that didn't get funded was the state IT department, we call them EATS, was asking for money for training on climbing towers, so that way they do repairs on essential systems when things go down. Everything else was funded. And it was a pretty nice discussion that we all had about what we give up, what we could take, and how we can intermingle those funds. That way we got the best bang for the buck. And funds from the state system, not just applied to the outside the UASI, but some of those funds also go to the UASI, supporting Southern Nevada Counterterrorism Center, supporting armor, and supporting Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department with some air-to-ground capabilities for connecting their helicopters to the ground for technology. Statewide, we really funded a lot of community emergency response teams for Douglas. Carson City is a new team, Washington County, and Elko. We funded Division of Emergency Management to work with our tribal partners and to maintain pretty much all the work that we do to support our local partners. And then we worked with the Secretary of State's office, and that's where we met the election criteria, but also a cybersecurity piece as well, making sure that every county and state has the Albert sensors. That way we can check on the inflow detection of any nefarious actors. And the Washington County Sheriff's Office also got, similar to what we did in the UASI, Washington County Sheriff's Office Consolidated Bomb Team got recommended for a robot, and then for some cybersecurity upgrades and for a new vehicle as well. So we keep those capacities throughout the state pretty well done. I think one of the blessings we do have in Nevada is our explosive ordnance disposal teams. They have a lot of high ticket items they got to buy, but they do work as a group between the 4 teams of the Consolidated team, the Todd Douglas team, the Elko team, and Las Vegas Fire Rescues team, to make sure that they get the right stuff. And they're not all hitting us at once for the same high dollar item, but they pick and choose. And that's been nice, where we've been able to always spend a lot of money on them, but not all at once. So that's the end of my report. Pending any questions, sir?
Well done, Dave. Any questions for Dave?
Mr.
Okay,
Chair,
hearing none.
Mr.
Then I
Chair,
guess I would ask for a motion from one of the members for finalized funding allocation to present to the Homeland Commission tomorrow, if you so choose.
yeah, this is Carolyn Levering for the record. Do you hear me?
I sure can.
Oh, terrific. Thank you. So Chief Samuels referenced the election security projects. He and I collaborated closely to ensure that we met the minimum spend requirement in that particular category. During our collaborations and during the working group meeting, we came to a conclusion that there needed to be a slightly made adjustment between the two projects. We determined that we needed a little bit extra funding in the City of Las Vegas project, and he was very gracious to agree that Clark County was able to slightly reduce the allocation made for their project to accommodate our project. So the overall budgeted funds in the proposal do not change. It stays the same. Just the two line items would be adjusted slightly. And normally I would be very reticent to make these kinds of changes at the Finance Committee level, but it was something that we thought needed to be addressed now instead of after the fact. And I wanted to take the opportunity to propose those changes before we take a motion on the recommendations.
Great, Carolyn. Thank you very much. Any other discussion?
If not, I'll take a shot at making a motion that includes the changes that we need in the budget.
Great. Thank you. We have a motion from Carolyn Levering. Do I have a second?
Chris Lake will second.
And-
Lake, second.
Yeah, and for discussion purposes, for the record, the adjustments to the budget line item for Clark County elections, their new total budget is 146,202.93. And the updated budget for Las Vegas election security is 32,275.20.
Great. Thanks, Carolyn. Any further discussion on the motions? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Move on to item number 5, the status of the Homeland Security Grants Program funds. It's discussion only, and I'll toss it back to you again, David Fogerson.
And I'm going to pass it to our Chief Financial Officer, Jared Franco.
Jared Franco, thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Jared Franco for the record. Inside of your meeting materials that you should all have, you'll find all the statuses of the open grants of 2019 to 2022. These grants are current as of last quarter. And if anyone has any questions, please reach out to me offline, and I'll be more than happy to answer those in a report.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any questions for Jared? Okay, hearing none, we don't need a motion on that one, so we'll move on to item number 6, notification of reallocation of Homeland Security Grant Program funds. Again, back to you, David.
And I'm going to turf this one to Jared as well, trying to get it some speaking time.
All right, thank you, Chief. Jared Franco for the record. Also inside your meeting materials, you'll find the PCR report that was sent out earlier today. These are all the PCRs that have been submitted and either approved or denied from last finance meeting. As you can see, it's a pretty hefty list. And also, if there are any questions about these, I will be happy to answer them offline. End of report.
One item from day forward tonight. We want to make sure we're producing these and everyone can see them, because anything under $100,000 change, we're allowed to make administratively, has been the policy that this committee and then the commission itself has adopted. And we do such a public process, as we talked about with Carolyn and Billy, through the UASI and through the INRAC, to make sure that everything's daylighted. When we make administrative changes, these grants, because someone's asked for a budget change or a time change, want to make sure that that gets out there for everyone to see. Because we did have some questions yesterday at the INRAC meeting in particular, you know, what agencies are more prone to be returning money or not able to use it. So by daylighting this stuff, hopefully we can keep everyone on the up and up and knowing how everything's working, and no one has any concerns over anybody's business. And you guys can hold us accountable, make sure we're doing a good job as the fiduciaries for this grant stream.
Great. Any other questions for either Jared or David? All right, hearing none, no motion needed on that one either. So moving on to item number 7, public comment. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under this item of the agenda until the matter itself has been specifically included on the agenda as an item upon which action may be taken. Public comments may be limited to 3 minutes per person. At the discretion of the chair, comments will not be restricted based on viewpoint. So since we have a little bit of a delay on this, I think I'll wait about a minute. If there's any public comment, please let me know. This is Kevin McMahill again. I just say to you that I haven't been involved in this in the last couple of years, and that might be some of the most cooperation I've ever heard of on this committee. So thank you all very much for the hard work that you've put in on this. I know it's tough discussions, and I, for one, am very appreciative of your work and look forward to the Homeland Commission tomorrow, I believe it is, as well. And so any other public comments? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Brown.
Brown as a first, second.
Chris, I'll second.
Chris Lake, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye,
Have a great day, folks. Thank you.
thank you.
Meeting adjourned.